The Turkish people consider the year 1299 as the beginning of the Ottoman Empire. But the real question is, why exactly this year? There was no major battle, no historic proclamation, no important political or military event that could serve as a clear marker for the empire's start. Yet, historians often tell us that sometimes the simplest explanation is the correct one. In fact, 1299 in the Gregorian calendar corresponds to 699 in the Islamic calendar. By a remarkable coincidence, both calendars were transitioning from one century to the next, 1299 turning into 1300 and 699 turning into 700. This numerical symmetry played a symbolic role, and that year was officially recognized as the first year of the Ottoman state. But what about the Ottomans themselves? What did they record about their origins? And this is where the story becomes far more fascinating. According to the earliest Ottoman chronicles, the empire's history begins not with a battle or a decree, but with a dream. This dream was seen by Osman Ghazi, the founder of the empire. Osman, the son of Ertuğrul, was staying one night at the home of a deeply respected elder, Sheikh Edebali, a man known for his piety and wisdom. During his sleep, Osman had a vision that would later symbolize the foundation of a mighty empire. In the dream, a bright and radiant moon emerged from the chest of Sheikh Edebali and entered Osman's chest. From Osman's own body, a great tree began to sprout. This tree grew so large and expansive that its shade extended over the entire world. Beneath the tree were mountains, and at the base of each mountain flowed a river. People were enjoying the water, playing and rejoicing along its banks, symbolizing peace, prosperity, and abundance under Osman's future rule. When Osman shared this vision with Sheikh Edebali the next morning, the elder smiled warmly and said, "Congratulations, Osman. God has chosen you and your descendants to rule the world, and my daughter Malhun shall become your wife, and through you, the line of rulers will continue." This dream, however, was not documented in Osman's lifetime. It was written down 150 years later, which led early Western historians to dismiss it entirely. They argued that stories recorded centuries later could not be considered reliable history, but modern research has revealed an important truth. The Turkic tribes preserved history primarily through oral traditions. Stories, songs, poems, and narratives were the accepted methods of keeping historical memory alive. Though Western scholars of the past did not understand this, it was a legitimate method of documentation. At the time, Osman's tribe was small and relatively insignificant. That is why Byzantine chroniclers initially ignored them. However, in 1301, for the first time, Byzantine records mention Osman as a tribal leader who launched an attack on their territory. This is the first historically verified battle involving Osman, and it demonstrates that even a small tribal group could challenge the power of a major empire when led by a capable and ambitious leader. Historians deduce that Osman's rise must have begun a few years earlier, likely around 1299, based on this first battle. This is why 1299 is considered the symbolic start of the Ottoman Empire. It represents not a single event, but the convergence of multiple factors: the rise of Osman's leadership, the consolidation of his tribe, and the establishment of a foothold against neighboring powers. To fully understand this, we must consider the geopolitical context of Anatolia in the late 13th century. The region was a complex mosaic of competing powers, remnants of the Seljuk Sultanate, independent Turkic tribes, and the declining Byzantine Empire. Each power struggled for control, and alliances shifted frequently. Osman's tribe occupied the region near Söğüt, strategically located along trade routes and fertile lands. This position allowed them to consolidate power gradually while observing the weaknesses of larger empires. Osman's leadership style was pragmatic. He combined military skill with diplomacy, gaining loyalty from neighboring tribes. He also respected local traditions, incorporating the Turkic custom of oral storytelling to legitimize his rule. Through these strategies, Osman laid the groundwork for a state that could survive, expand, and endure for centuries. Now, let us return to the dream. Beyond symbolism, it also reflects the Ottoman vision of governance. The moon represents divine guidance, the tree represents a growing and sustainable state, and the rivers symbolize prosperity and justice for the people. Osman's dream was more than a personal vision. It became a cultural and political metaphor for the empire itself. By 1301, Osman had already begun engaging in military campaigns against Byzantine territories, testing the strength of his small but disciplined force. These early confrontations were crucial. They taught him the realities of empire building, prepared his warriors for larger battles, and signaled to surrounding tribes that Osman's leadership was formidable. The Battle of 1301, though small in scale compared to later Ottoman conquests, marked the first clear demonstration of Osman's ambition and strategic thinking. Meanwhile, the Byzantine Empire was in decline. Political instability, internal strife, and external threats weakened its ability to control frontier territories. Osman's tribe, small and agile, could exploit these weaknesses. Unlike large empires weighed down by bureaucracy and tradition, Osman's leadership allowed rapid decision-making, flexibility in warfare, and swift expansion. Between 1299 and 1301, Osman's tribe transformed from a modest frontier group into a state in its embryonic form. The combination of spiritual legitimacy, strategic location, tribal alliances, and military initiative created the foundation of what would become the Ottoman Empire. In conclusion, the origins of the Ottoman Empire are neither simple nor conventional. While many empires begin with a single battle or declaration, the Ottomans combine symbolic dreams, oral traditions, strategic foresight, and early military victories to establish themselves. The year 1299 represents a symbolic and practical convergence of these factors. The dream of Osman Ghazi, the legacy of Ertugrul, the first verified battle in 1301, and the surrounding geopolitical circumstances all merged to create a state that would endure and grow for over 6 centuries, ultimately becoming one of the most influential empires in world history.